Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Animel. I am your host, Mel. Today I felt like it'd be a good opportunity to talk about some recent event news around the One Piece live action anime series that's currently being adapted. But not specifically that, but more in regards to live action anime adaptations in general. I feel like this is something that's really prominent and pertinent right now, especially after the cancellation of the highly anticipated Cowboy Bebop. Personally, I felt that it was nicely adapted. Obviously, it tends to be tricky to adapt live action animes. That may not be completely obvious to you if you're new to anime and haven't really watched any live action anime adaptations. For multiple reasons, there is essentially like a lot of mixed feelings about the One Piece live action series. Granted, the characters look like they kind of fit the description, like visually speaking, for the characters of One Piece. So it looks like there's going to be, I guess, an honor representation to the characters' homage, and that Oda is extremely involved in it. But like most people who have been exposed to live action anime adaptations, there is just always like I wouldn't even say a grain of salt, like a heaping of salt that comes with announcements like that. If you're not aware of why, I think that some of the animes that I'm going to talk about today that have been adapted into live actions will give you plenty of reason and understanding as to why anytime a live action adaptation is announced, there are usually more negative comments than there are positive ones, and just grand hopes from diehard fans that they will at least do the series justice. And with that, let's get into it. Over the years, there have been a sparse release, or there have been sparing releases. I don't even explain that. Essentially, over the years, there have been releases of different types of live action anime adaptations that like happen every once in a while. It wasn't a very popular thing. Like if it happened, it was very rare, but it seems like they're starting to make their occurrences really popular now. I feel like the very first like live adaptation anime movie like from a series that I've ever seen was Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was adapted into a live action movie called Dragon Ball Evolution. It was basically a total bomb. Like it bombed out. It was the worst thing ever. If you look it up online, it's got like a 2.5 rating. I don't know if it's out of 5 or out of 10. Out of 5, it's not great. If it's out of 10, then it's even worse. But that show, or rather that movie in general, you can almost see like no connections to Dragon Ball Z, the series, and the movie. Now, the reason I say this is because, and you'll find some of these occurrences happening in a lot of the not so great live action movies that have been done over the years. So with Dragon Ball Z, there was a lot of character hiring or placement actor choices that essentially like whitewash the characters. As you know, most animes are adapted knowing that most of the characters are within Japan. There are exceptions like Attack on Titan. There's also an Attack on Titan live action movie, which is not so great due to other reasons, like how well can you really adapt titans and small humans? Like some of the choice, I guess, of like animation or CGI usage is very weird and uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable because it's Attack on Titan or because I'm actually looking at real naked humans. I don't know. But anyway, going back to my main point is that in most animes, the characters are Japanese. It's staged in Japan majority of the time, with a few ones staged outside of Japan, like Attack on Titan, which have a lot of Anglo or Caucasian characters with blonde hair or brown hair versus Japanese characters. I think notably the only really real Japanese characters in Attack on Titan are like Levi and Mikasa. But going back to my main point, there's a lot of whitewashing that happens in Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is not the only one that has had this fault happen. Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is another anime that was adapted into a live action movie. While the cinematics of it were very grand to help match some of the futuristic feelings of Ghost in the Shell, it's hard to encompass a series in one movie. And I believe that's where Hollywood or movie producers tend to falter a lot. They think that, hey, let's adapt this amazing series that everybody loves. We're gonna make a movie out of it. And then you sit back and you think it's like, wait, how do you make a movie out of like a series, like which has multiple episodes? It makes it really difficult, very challenging. And another reason as to why anytime there's like a adaptation announcement for an anime to a live action as a movie, there's gonna be constant criticism for trying to adapt something so long in a short runtime. As you may have noticed, I noticed Attack on Titan being another anime that was adapted into a live action movie. As I said, it was kind of strange for many reasons, like Titans being shot in live action mode, but additionally, the characters, oddly enough, in the reverse, since it was actually produced in Japan versus America, aka our very lovely Hollywood, they casted all of the characters as Japanese characters. Understandably so. Japan tends to be a rather homogenous country, so I would find it hard for them to try and cast more Caucasian-looking characters or Caucasian characters with features of all the other characters within Attack on Titan. Like, as you know, there are a lot of characters in Attack on Titan that have blonde hair. I don't think there's a single character that has blonde hair within the Attack on Titan live action movie. And what's worse, I think I even read a comment somewhere on YouTube that was like, I can't even tell who's who because they're not really drawing out the different characteristics and like physical features of all of these characters. I think one thing that people love about most animes is the design and the character design. The character design is extremely important for you to be able to pick out your favorite characters or to know like how to, I guess, draw your comparisons or draw what you love from the anime to the live action. When the live action doesn't take any of this into consideration, this obviously upsets a lot of fans and a lot of viewers. For anyone who's never seen Attack on Titan and watches it with fresh eyes, they may not notice anything wrong. But most of the time when you adapt these series into live actions, you're trying to garner the attention of anime viewers, which begs the question, why is it so hard for them to adapt something more true to the anime that will actually appease the fans and will, essentially ensure their success when it comes to creating these live actions? Like, it's something that most people don't understand, especially when it comes to more simplistic stuff. Granted, some of the movies that we've talked about are very supernatural, which also makes it very difficult for them to adapt. Dragon Ball Z has supernatural strength, abilities, and concepts that's hard to adapt, which makes the, again, CGI cinematic production very, budget looking. It just looks like somebody in their backyard could have made it. Like, tons of YouTubers today could probably do a lot better. And obviously that's because technology has advanced since Dragon Ball Z Evolution was released, but still, you've got, Hollywood money behind it. Why does it look so bad? Someone help me understand that. And just character choice design. Like, Bulma has blue hair. You guys give her a blue strand. That doesn't equate to the character design. How are fans supposed to watch it and be like, whoa, this is such a great series, if one, it doesn't follow the storyline or any bits of the storyline, or try to adapt parts of it from the storyline, and you don't try to mimic character designs? And I don't want this to be a bashing video of just why are live action movies so bad? They're mostly bad, unfortunately, but there are some really good ones. So there was an adaptation of Bleach once. It's on Netflix. I swear it's the best live adaptation. Personally, for me, I hear a lot of good things about Rurouni Kenshin, but I haven't seen it. But Bleach's live action adaptation is really well done. While it's a movie, which again, as mentioned earlier, it makes it a little bit tricky because you're trying to adapt a series into a movie. That means the run times are going to be completely different. Like, let's say a movie on average is an hour and 30 minutes long, and they're trying to adapt like 20 episodes. 20 episodes is roughly like 25 minutes. We could round it up to like a half an hour for the sake of it. I think we're looking at roughly 10 hours. 10 hours versus an hour and a half. It's how do you get so much plot into a short runtime without cutting corners and skipping important pieces? But Bleach, I believe they adapt about like 15 to 17, I don't know, I want to say 15 to 20 episodes, which is about like the very first season of Bleach, and it is so well done. And again, Bleach is one of those like supernatural-esque shows, but the good thing about Bleach is that it's a lot of like sword fighting, so it makes it a little bit easier to adapt. There was some, I guess there was some like more grounded like planning for that movie with that understanding. And there has also been news that, you know, they're planning on adapting Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho also has supernatural elements to it, so fans obviously are a little like apprehensive. I believe Netflix is helping with the production of that, as well as the One Piece live action. The One Piece live action is going to be a live action series adaptation, so the runtime won't necessarily be an issue, but again, it's the supernatural piece. Like, you've got Luffy, the main character, he eats the Gum Gum no Mi, the Gum Gum devil fruit, which allows him to stretch his limbs and his legs and basically manipulate the shape of his body. Like, how are we going to adapt that well into a live action with a regular human? And it's something that's not like one-off occurrences, it's happening all the time. Like, this is part of Luffy's like character. So while I'm a huge, you know, One Piece fan, and I know Oda's involved, and I love that the characters that they've picked so far, I'm not gonna lie that I definitely have one foot back about how they're actually going to properly get this done. And unfortunately, while Netflix may have some successes, like with Bleach, they've also had very, very, very bad adaptations. So one that's really prominent is Death Note. Death Note also had a lot of white casting. It was really interesting. Like, you couldn't really follow what was going on a good portion of the time. I gotta say that Death Note is quite possibly like on par with Dragon Ball Z Evolution adaptation. I think what makes it so bad is that they kinda, how do I say this? Like, Light's character, which is, he's the main character of Death Note, which is, I would say, like one of the biggest selling pieces of Death Note. Like, his character is kind of like watered down to some extent, where you don't feel that exhilaration when you watch his character. I think that they adapted his character really poorly, and his character is like the anchor for Death Note. I don't know what Netflix was thinking. I don't know what the producers were thinking, but like, this is just another example of an amazing anime, and Death Note is an amazing anime gone really, really wrong. And I don't, all right, let's not say I don't understand. I definitely understand why all of these have gone wrong. It's just that what made people think to take on these projects, knowing that if they didn't get the adaptations like as close as possible to the anime, and look, I get it, creative freedom, you can try to tweak how you like, maybe change the storyline a little bit here and there to allow for like some new creative flow, but the reason that people are coming to watch it is because they're huge fans of the original work itself. And if you can't honor the original work, then why make it? And I think that's my huge existential question here. Why make these series if you can't honor the work? And interestingly enough, even though Netflix made their own Death Note adaptation, there was an adaptation that was actually done prior to Netflix adaptation of Death Note in Japan that was perfectly well done. Like, there was no need for you to adapt it for American audiences just so that we can hear people speak English and so that we could see Caucasian folks on TV. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think if people wanted to watch it in English, perhaps you could have dubbed the original Japanese created one, because that one is actually so well done. It really honors the show and portrays it in the manner that it deserves, so that people can really feel that connection that they felt with the anime to the live action. As anime becomes more and more popular around, I guess you could say, the general population these days, with shows like Attack on Titan reaching, how do you want to say it? The non-anime audience? I don't know. Essentially, Attack on Titan is very like Gen Pop now. And so is Naruto. Naruto is very Gen Pop. And I think Hollywood, Netflix, a lot of these streaming services have realized the potential and opportunity to kind of like capitalize on anime. Not only are they trying to create their own animes, but if they want to create something, along the lines of the favorites like Naruto and Bleach and One Piece, then they feel like, well, we can't make another anime on it, then let's create a live action. I think this is really important to realize why this is happening, but at the end of the day, if you can't honor the show and you can't honor the original creation or the anime itself, because technically the anime is not the original creation, the original source usually stems from like a manga or a light novel, or sometimes a video game actually, and then gets adapted into an anime. So to go from like manga, light novel, video game to anime to live action, we're asking for a lot to happen here. And if you can't honor it, please don't do it for the sake of money, because you're gonna end up blowing all of your money and then canceling the show and or sequel movies potentially that you plan to come. Now, I'm not going to recommend that you go watch most of these. Don't watch Dragon Ball Z Evolution. Don't watch Death Note made by Netflix. Probably don't watch Ghost in the Shell, and don't watch the creation of the Attack on Titan live action. But if you do want to see some good live action movies, the Death Note creation from Japan is really good, and so is Bleach. And I've heard Rurouni Kenshin is really good. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but they said that it's adapted really well. But to be super frank, it's also a bunch of sword play, sword fighting concept, so it makes it actually a little bit more feasible. I think all I really ask is that Hollywood, Netflix, whoever you are, can you just follow the show exactly as it is, or the original source exactly as it is? Like, if you tweak it a little bit, but like, don't go ahead and start making your own up, because you're going to upset everyone. As I've stated, just choose something that's more feasible and realistic. If you're gonna choose like a shonen that has a lot of supernatural to it, you better make sure that you have the largest budget for your VFX team, because if you don't, it's probably going to bomb. I do hope the largest success for One Piece, and I guess any other live adaptations that they come out with, but One Piece most importantly, because I love the series too much to see it bomb. And if Oda's involved, I want to ensure his success too. And if it's gonna be a series, then it could be kind of like my own way of reliving One Piece, because I've been wrestling with the idea of rewatching One Piece, but I feel like that's a ridiculous idea, considering that I have a long list of other anime to watch, and for me to rewatch One Piece would probably be the equivalent of watching 10 different shows. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed my video today. Thank you all for your support. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, or if you want to see more videos like this where we talk about like just what's going on in the anime community and like new stuff that's happening. But until then, I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate your support again, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.